Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, swinging your legs out of bed, and feeling a renewed sense of stability and strength in your limbs. Picture yourself walking down the hallway without that familiar, stubborn stiffness in your joints, and without the sudden, painful grip of a muscle cramp in your calves. For many of us over the age of 50, maintaining this level of physical independence is the ultimate goal. We want to enjoy our walks, tend to our gardens, travel, and keep up with our grandchildren without being held back by a body that feels fatigued or unreliable. To achieve this, you may have made a conscious, highly commendable decision to improve your diet. Perhaps you have started incorporating more whole foods into your daily meals, reaching for a ripe banana at breakfast, slicing a fresh avocado onto your salad, or steaming a side of dark leafy greens for dinner. You do this with a clear purpose: to protect your heart, manage your blood pressure, and keep your muscles functioning exactly as they should. You feel a justified sense of accomplishment, knowing you are actively taking control of your cardiovascular and metabolic health. But what if there was a hidden obstacle in your kitchen? What if some of your most deeply ingrained cooking habits, or the innocent way you pair your foods, are actually neutralizing these benefits before your body even has a chance to utilize them? Even more concerning, what if certain common prescription medications are interacting with these healthy foods in a way that transforms a vital nutrient into a silent, unexpected hazard for your heart rhythm? This is the frustrating reality that many older adults and caregivers face. You make the effort to eat well, yet the cellular benefits of your choices are lost due to invisible chemical conflicts in the cooking pot or on the plate. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on one of the most critical nutrients for the aging body: potassium. We will explore how this essential mineral supports your vitality, and more importantly, we will expose the common dietary mistakes that can quietly drain it from your meals or block its absorption entirely. By understanding these mechanisms, you can ensure that every single bite of healthy food you take is actually working to protect your longevity. Before we dive into the science of how to safeguard this vital mineral, let's take a moment to connect as a community. If you are managing your cardiovascular health, or if you are caring for a loved one who is, please take a moment to introduce yourself in the comments below. Share your general age range, where you are watching from in the world, and what your favorite healthy breakfast or go-to vegetable is. Reading these comments helps all of us realize we are not alone on this journey toward better health, and it allows us to learn from the diverse experiences of peers across the globe. Let us build a supportive, educated space together right here. To appreciate why we must protect this nutrient so fiercely, we must first understand what it does inside the aging body. Potassium is not merely a mineral, it is a vital electrolyte that carries a tiny electrical charge. This electrical charge is the spark plug for some of the most fundamental processes in human physiology. Every time your heart beats, every time your muscles contract, and every time a nerve sends a signal from your brain to your extremities, your body is relying on a highly sophisticated cellular mechanism known as the sodium-potassium pump. This microscopic pump sits on the membrane of almost every cell in your body. Its job is to constantly pump sodium out of the cell while pulling potassium in. This activity creates an electrical gradient across the cell membrane, which is absolutely essential for muscle contraction and nerve transmission. In the cardiovascular system, this mechanism plays a monumental role. Potassium acts as a natural physiological counterpart to sodium. While excess sodium retains water and increases blood volume, which raises blood pressure and strains your delicate arterial walls, potassium encourages the kidneys to excrete excess sodium through the urine. Furthermore, potassium actively signals the smooth muscle cells in your blood vessels to relax. This relaxation, known as vasodilation, reduces systemic vascular resistance, allowing your blood to flow more smoothly and keeping your blood pressure within a healthy, stable range. However, as we cross the threshold of 50, our physiological landscape begins to change. Our kidneys naturally become less efficient at filtering waste and balancing electrolytes. At the same time, our blood vessels lose some of their youthful elasticity, a process often referred to as arterial stiffening. Because of these age-related changes, the cardiovascular system becomes far more sensitive to imbalances between sodium and potassium. A deficiency in potassium, or an inability to absorb it effectively, does not just cause occasional muscle cramps. It can lead to sustained elevations in blood pressure, increased arterial tension, and a higher workload for an aging heart. The The primary conflict we face is one of bioavailability and vulnerability. Unlike fat-soluble vitamins that can be stored in our tissues for long periods, potassium is highly water-soluble. It cannot be manufactured by the body, nor can it be stored in large reserves. It must be consumed consistently through our diet. Yet, because of its chemical structure, potassium is incredibly delicate when subjected to heat, water, and competing compounds in the digestive tract. The very moment you begin preparing your food, a silent battle begins. If you do not understand how potassium behaves during cooking and digestion, you run a high risk of washing this life-giving mineral down the kitchen sink, or rendering it unabsorbable within your small intestine. Let us examine exactly how these negative interactions occur so you can stop them in their tracks. To truly protect the nutritional value of your meals, we must deconstruct three of the most common, yet highly detrimental, dietary and preparation mistakes that older adults make. By understanding the chemical and digestive reasons behind these conflicts, you can make simple, highly effective adjustments to your daily routine. The first, and perhaps most widespread mistake, occurs long before the food ever touches your fork. It happens at the kitchen stove. Many seniors, seeking to soften vegetables for easier chewing or to prepare a simple side dish, place potassium-rich foods like spinach, Swiss chard, potatoes, or beet greens into a pot of boiling water, cook them until tender, and then pour the water down the drain. From a chemical perspective, this is a nutritional disaster. Because potassium is an intracellular cation that is highly soluble in water, the application of high heat breaks down the plant's cellular walls. Once these walls are compromised, the potassium ions rapidly migrate out of the vegetable and dissolve into the surrounding cooking water. This physical process is known as leaching. When you drain that hot water into the sink, you are quite literally discarding the very nutrient you purchased the food for, leaving behind a depleted fiber structure that offers only a fraction of its original cardiovascular benefit. To halt this loss, transition away from boiling your vegetables in large volumes of water. Instead, opt for cooking methods that preserve the physical integrity of the food and minimize water contact. Steaming is an exceptional alternative. Because the vegetables are suspended above the water, the potassium remains locked within the plant tissues. Alternatively, roasting, baking, or light sautéing in a covered pan with a minimal amount of healthy oil will keep the minerals intact. If you must boil certain foods, such as when making a vegetable soup or a stew, ensure that you consume the cooking liquid itself. By keeping the broth as part of the meal, any potassium that leaches out of the vegetables is still safely ingested and absorbed by your body. The second mistake is a subtle one that occurs directly on the plate. It involves pairing potassium-rich foods with hidden, highly concentrated sources of sodium. For example, you might prepare a beautiful, nutrient-dense salad filled with potassium-rich avocado, leafy greens, and tomatoes, but then drench it in a commercial, store-bought salad dressing. Or perhaps you enjoy a potassium-rich baked potato, but top it with processed cheese sauces or prepackaged bacon bits. The conflict here is rooted in renal and cellular competition. As we discussed, the body relies on a delicate balance between sodium and potassium. When you consume a meal that is saturated with processed sodium, you flood your extracellular fluid with sodium ions. In the kidneys, sodium and potassium are constantly balanced through shared transport pathways. An overwhelming influx of dietary sodium signals the kidneys to hold on to fluid and excrete other minerals to maintain osmotic balance. At the cellular level, the sheer volume of sodium can overpower the vasodilatory effects of the potassium you just consumed. Instead of relaxing your blood vessels and lowering your blood pressure, the meal ends up causing fluid retention and arterial tension, completely neutralizing the therapeutic value of your healthy ingredients. To prevent this competitive antagonism, you must establish a clean dietary environment for your potassium-rich foods. Avoid processed, high-sodium condiments, canned broths, and commercial dressings. Instead, enhance the flavor of your potassium-rich meals using acid-forward and herb-based alternatives. Freshly squeezed lemon juice, lime juice, apple cider vinegar, and aromatic herbs like rosemary, thyme, and garlic not only complement the natural flavors of your food, but also promote healthy digestion without introducing excess sodium. If you do consume a meal that is higher in sodium, try to space your high-potassium foods several hours apart from it. allowing your kidneys time to process the sodium load before you introduce the beneficial mineral. The third mistake is one that is rarely discussed, but is highly prevalent among older adults: the chronic use of gastrointestinal accelerators, such as stimulant laxatives or specific herbal teas containing senna or licorice root. Many seniors experience sluggish digestion or occasional constipation and turn to these over-the-counter remedies or herbal preparations for daily relief, often consuming them alongside or shortly after their meals. This habit creates a severe digestive conflict. Stimulant laxatives work by irritating the lining of the bowel, which speeds up muscle contractions in the intestines to force waste out quickly. This accelerated transit time means that food moves through the small and large intestines far too rapidly. The small intestine is the primary site where minerals, including potassium, are absorbed into the bloodstream. When transit time is artificially accelerated, the intestinal lining does not have sufficient contact time with the digested food to extract and transport the potassium ions across the cellular barrier. Furthermore, certain compounds like licorice root contain glycyrrhizin, which can mimic hormones in the body that cause the kidneys to actively dump potassium into the urine while retaining sodium. This can lead to a rapid depletion of your body's potassium levels, even if you are eating potassium-rich foods daily. If you struggle with digestive regularity, it is vital to address the root cause rather than relying on chronic stimulant laxatives or herbal teas that accelerate transit time. Discuss safe, non-stimulant alternatives with your healthcare provider, such as increasing your intake of soluble fiber and maintaining adequate hydration. If you must use a digestive aid, establish a strict time gap of at least 4 to 6 hours between taking the aid and consuming your high-potassium meals. This window ensures that your digestive tract has ample, undisturbed time to absorb the vital minerals from your food before the motility of your gut is accelerated. Now that we have identified and resolved the negative interactions, let us shift our focus to positive reinforcement. Just as certain habits can block potassium, other specific food combinations can naturally amplify its absorption and utilization within your body. By pairing your foods strategically, you can maximize every milligram of nutrition. The most powerful partner for potassium is magnesium. Magnesium acts as a biochemical gatekeeper for the sodium-potassium pump. At the cellular level, the pump requires adenosine triphosphate, the body's primary energy currency, to function, and this energy molecule must be bound to a magnesium ion to be biologically active. Without sufficient magnesium, the cellular pump cannot operate efficiently, meaning that even if you have plenty of potassium circulating in your blood, it cannot easily enter your cells where it is needed most. To create a highly effective synergistic pairing, combine potassium-rich foods with magnesium-dense ingredients. For instance, you can top a potassium-rich baked sweet potato with a sprinkle of magnesium-rich pumpkin seeds or sliced almonds. You could also blend a morning smoothie containing a ripe banana for potassium and a generous spoonful of pure unsweetened cacao powder or chia seeds for magnesium. Another excellent pairing involves combining potassium-rich vegetables with healthy, high-quality fats. Many of the best dietary sources of potassium, such as dark leafy greens, are also packed with fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin K and vitamin A. When you sauté your greens lightly in extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil, the presence of these healthy lipids slows down gastric emptying. This slightly slower, more controlled movement of food through your digestive tract gives your small intestine a much better opportunity to thoroughly absorb the water-soluble potassium ions, while simultaneously unlocking the fat-soluble vitamins. It is a simple, delicious way to elevate the nutritional value of your meal. While increasing your potassium intake is highly beneficial for the vast majority of older adults, we must address some critical medical warnings. Because potassium has such a powerful effect on the electrical activity of the heart, there are specific situations where a high potassium diet can be dangerous. The most significant contraindication involves individuals with advanced chronic kidney disease or those taking specific cardiovascular medications. If your kidneys are not functioning at full capacity, they cannot effectively filter and excrete excess potassium. This can lead to a buildup of potassium in the blood, a condition known as hyperkalemia. Similarly, certain medications prescribed for high blood pressure or heart failure, specifically ACE inhibitors such as lisinopril, angiotensin receptor blockers such as losartan, and potassium-sparing diuretics such as spironolactone, actively instruct your kidneys to retain potassium. If you are taking any of these medications, consuming large amounts of potassium-rich foods, or taking potassium supplements without close medical supervision can cause your blood potassium levels to rise to unsafe levels, potentially triggering dangerous, life-threatening heart palpitations or arrhythmias. Always consult your prescribing physician or a registered dietitian before making significant changes to your potassium intake. For seniors who do not have these medical restrictions but face physical challenges, simple adaptations can make these foods highly accessible. If you or a loved one struggles with dental issues, difficulty chewing, or mild swallowing difficulties, dysphagia, raw potassium sources like raw spinach, carrots, or dense fruits can be difficult to manage. Fortunately, you can easily modify the physical structure of these foods without losing their nutritional value. Steaming leafy greens until they are very soft and then pureeing them into a smooth, flavorful soup is an excellent option. You can also mash ripe avocados into a smooth spread, or blend soft fruits like bananas and cooked sweet potatoes into nutrient-dense, easy-to-swallow smoothies. These physical modifications ensure you receive all the cardiovascular benefits of potassium without any physical discomfort or choking hazards. In summary, protecting your cardiovascular and muscular health as you age does not require a complete overhaul of your life. It simply requires mindfulness in the kitchen. Remember the simple rules we have established today. Protect your potassium by steaming or roasting your vegetables rather than boiling them. Keep your meals free from hidden processed sodium that competes with this vital mineral, and avoid using digestive accelerators close to your meal times. Whenever possible, pair your potassium-rich foods with magnesium-dense seeds or healthy fats to maximize cellular absorption, and always remain mindful of how your personal medications might affect your body's electrolyte balance. As we bring this educational journey to a close, I want to warmly invite you back to our community space. If you haven't already done so, please scroll down to the comments and share your age range, your location, and one simple change you plan to make to your cooking or eating habits based on what you learned today. Your insights and commitments inspire others in our growing community to take proactive steps for their own health. Thank you for prioritizing your wellness and dedicating your valuable time to evidence-based health education. If you found this information helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel. We are dedicated to bringing you clear, authoritative, and practical health guidance tailored specifically for your longevity. Please remember that this video is for educational purposes only. Always consult with your personal healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, supplement regimen, or medication schedule. Stay proactive, stay informed, and take care of your health.